this video, I will be comparing the very popular Doona to its only competitor, the Evenflo Shyft Dualride. Both of these come at a similar price point, but with a lot of different features. So with that, let's jump in. If you're new here, I'm Emily, I'm the stroller mom. I review car seats, stroller, and baby gear from a mom's perspective. I used both of these products that we bought with my baby, who's now 4 months old. So I tested each of them while she was kind of in that newborn stage. So I'm gonna give you all the details of what I experienced as a mom. So if you aren't already, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and please shop through the links below if you decide to buy either the Evenflo Shyft Dualride or the Doona. So with that, we're just gonna focus on the details and the differences between the two. If you're looking for safety, check out Safe in the Seat. If you're looking for more detailed reviews, be sure to check out my other reviews because I have a full one on each of these. But let's start with price. The Doona retails for $550, and what you get for that is what you see here. So the infant insert, the car seat, the stroller built in, right? You also get a base and a very flimsy seat protector. It's not my favorite, but it comes with that, which is a nice feature. In regards to the Evenflo Shyft Dualride, there's 3 different options you can purchase for this car seat. So you can get the cheaper one, which kind of ranges in price, but the most common one is $549. It does go on sale quite often, so be sure to check for that. And then it includes the car seat stroller, as you see here, a parent cup holder, as well as a travel bag. If you get the gold version of the Evenflo Shyft Dualride, you get like a canopy extensions, magnetic buckles, some more upgraded premium features, but that one is going to retail closer to $600. So something to note on those 2 differences. In regards to handlebar, there is actually a big difference here. So I'm just going to put them side by side. You can see that the Evenflo Shyft Dualride is definitely the better option in regards to accessories, as well as for tall parents. So if you are a taller parent, this is definitely going to be the best option for you. So for your children, the Evenflo Shyft Dualride is definitely going to be the best option if you have a really small baby. So you can start using this with 3 pounds where the Doona's 4 pounds, but the way the infant inserts are, it's a lot harder to get a more secure install on a really small baby, whereas the Evenflo has a lot of ways you can customize it to work for really small babies. In regards to large babies, they both work up to 35 pounds and 32 inches, but it's always important to remember within an inch of the top for car seats on both sides, or the height or weight, whichever one they age out of first, that's when you're going to want to move them up to a convertible car seat. So all those things are super important, but where the real difference is in regards to weight. So both of these are very, very heavy. We love the car seat stroller situations right now. It's very popular. You see them everywhere, and they're a bit of a status symbol. But they are heavy, and there is no denying that they are heavy. So the Evenflo Shyft Dualride is actually heavier at 20 pounds, while the Doona is almost 17 pounds. And that little bit of difference makes all the difference. As someone who used both of these with my very small 13 percentile newborn, I noticed a difference. My husband noticed a difference in lifting these both into our car. We have a large car, so we have to lift it up. And I think a lot of the reasons why people love these is because they don't take up a lot of space. You don't have to have a stroller in your trunk. So that is something to be aware of because it is heavy to lift in. And we often found ourselves having to back up our vehicle to get them in because they're just awkward and big to get in to your car. That's the trade-off for having it be a 2-in-1 stroller system. In regard to features on both of these, the canopy is significantly better on the Evenflo, especially if you get the Evenflo Gold. It has an extendable canopy. So I found that in general, the sun was not in my newborn's face nearly as much in the Evenflo as it was in the Doona. The Doona's coverage is just not enough. You can buy a canopy, but it's like $40-something to buy an extender to make it so it covers your baby. Both of these, the canopies get stuck on when moving them back. So when you have them in carrier mode, they both get stuck, which is definitely annoying. You have to push them down to get it around. But it happens with both of them, so there's no clear winner here. In regard to features, most of them are going to be better on the Evenflo. So you have no rethread, which means you can adjust the headrest here with your baby without having to turn the car seat over and manually rethreading it. You do have the more traditional, old school rethreading on the Doona. There also are buckle holders on the Evenflo. That was one of my biggest pet peeves. I think I've been spoiled with my Doona car seats, is that there were no buckle holders on the Doona. And when you have a really tiny baby, it's super nice. So my trick is I found that I pull it out really far and then put them around the felt path loop, and it was okay. But that definitely is something that's super nice that it's on the Evenflo. Both of these options sell a version of technology that helps you know so you don't leave your baby in the car, if they're too hot, those things. So the Doona, you have to buy it separately, which I actually like. I will say, I think having the option to add the technology is nice. I don't love that I'm stuck with the sensor safe technology on the Evenflo. I don't have the option to not have the technology. So it's there, it's on your child's chest. They do say it's Bluetooth censored and it's like unlocking your car, but it's nice that you don't have to have that feature and you can kind of use your discernment as the parent on which one you want to do. But I'm really curious what you think below on the technology that they're adding to car seats and other baby gear. Then moving on to brake. So the Evenflo Shyft Dualride's brake is a 2-step brake here, and you have to do it on both sides, whereas the Doona's is actually better. It has this like tether here, so you have the brake, which is red, and then when you're ready to go, you just press the green one, and that is super easy. In regards to the push, the Doona actually has the better push. It is marginal, like I'm not gonna say it's like the craziest difference, but I did find navigating and the turn radius on the Doona was a lot smoother, and I found that I liked pushing the Doona better. Before we get to fold, I do wanna touch on something with the install. So both of these car seats come with a base, and they can also both be installed in your car without a base. The Doona base is not the easiest to install. You can get it, there's all the ways, but I found it was just so much easier to install the Evenflo base because of its Loctite technology, its bubble indicator, and it was just way easier for me to get a very secure install using the base on the Evenflo. The other thing that's super unique to the Evenflo is you can actually take the car seat off of the wheels. You cannot do that with the Doona. So as your baby gets bigger and maybe you don't want to use it as a stroller as much anymore, you can actually take the car seat off, and it only weighs 11 pounds. And so you have a nice option there. The Doona or the Evenflo also includes wheel protectors when in the base, which is so nice and keeps your car less dirty. So I really like that about the Evenflo as well. The last thing I will say on the install is the Doona has to have the handlebar in this position right here when it's installed in a car. That's its anti-rebound panel, whereas the Evenflo's is in the base. The downside to that for me as a parent when using it with my baby is you lift your baby in this way, and then I often had to put the handlebar down. So it was an extra step every single time I used it in the base, whereas with the Evenflo, I found myself just putting it in carrier mode, and then it was good as soon as I put it in the car. However, when it comes to installing this car seat without a base and a seatbelt, the Doona is actually easier because you can buckle it in without taking any of the wheels off, where the Evenflo, you have to take the wheels out. So check out my full review because I kind of go into all the details there, but it is something I want to note. Okay, here's how you fold the Doona. So to fold it, you're going to want to put it in carrier mode here. Make sure the brake is engaged, and then there's one button on the back, and you just pull it through. If the wheels are not turned the right way, it will not fold. And that is true for both of them. But I find with the Doona, the wheels are a little inconvenient to get them perfectly every single time. And then it's defaultly in the proper position. You lift it into your car, a nice 16 pounds with your baby, and you just pop it in the base. Neither of these are super easy to put in their base, like especially if you're in a bigger car. I think if you're in a smaller car, it's easier. And then to open it, they both have an aggressive, there's one button here on the Doona, and it pops out. And then you can move it here, and you're set to go. So there's a trick where you can do it where you put it on the ground and then pull it up where it's not as aggressive if your baby's sleeping. But it is definitely a pop out when you're taking your baby out of the car and then you're ready to roll. To go from strolling on the Evenflo Shyft Dualride, you're going to need to take off all the accessories. And I love that they include the travel bag and the parent cup holder, but you do have to take them off every single time. And then you're gonna put the handlebar down, back in the carrier position. And then there's two levers. You're gonna use the bottom lever and you actually go the opposite way of the Doona, which was so confusing to me. Most parents won't find this, but it was confusing going from both. And then you put it in that position if you're leaving it, and then you can lift it up, and oh my goodness, it's 20 pounds without a child in it. So it's heavy. And then to open it up, you'll just pull the top lever. It's aggressive, just like the Doona. And then you put it back, and you're ready to go. So which of these is best for you, the Doona or the Evenflo Shyft Dualride? I think the Evenflo Shyft Dualride looks better on paper. It has better features, the canopy's better, it can be removed from the base, right? There's all those different unique features. However, the Doona I mean, it has some really great features, right? I like the brake better. I really like the push of it better. I think it's easier to install without a base, although I think the base is easier to install in the Evenflo. So it ultimately comes down to really small details that you as the parent has to decide. I think the biggest thing I took away while using these is I do not want to be lifting an 8-month-old out of the car in one of these. I definitely am going to want one of the lightweight strollers that I have. So if you decide to go with one of these and are ready to move your child to the next stroller and car seat, be sure to check out my other videos. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and please shop through the links below.